Hi, this is Vinny and Pip. We are in a beautiful field and we're going to talk about Vinny's testimony, one of his testimonies, one of many.
We're in actual marshland, as you can see, and it's quite like natural, beautiful. It's really, really cool place. And we've been provided this lovely, lovely bench by the loggers, it seems. And it's a beautiful day.
Hear the birds? Beautiful. I'm going to ask you a few questions, Vinny. You had a testimony last November. Can you explain what happened when you got arrested?
Yeah. Well, Father dragged me asunder from my life. He grabbed me and he took. I had a great life. I mean, I had everything I ever wanted. I had, lots of money coming in. Beautiful children,
Beautiful,
living in like paradise. Everything was going great. Just, I was only working a couple of days to 3 days a week, and I was still earning a fortune. And I was going out fishing on the Pacific Ocean in New Zealand, and just that was my life. I was just living it up, and fell away from him. Fell away from him big time. I had it too good. You know what I mean? Just, I always believed in that. Not like I am now, but anyway, cut a long story short, he ripped that all away from me and showed me some great wonders, and I'll get into that another time, but I haven't got 2 hours, so. But anyways, he gets back and meets me current wife now, and I was living in the forest alone for about 2, 3 years maybe. Just built myself a shelter and just lived there, and I got to the point where I didn't want to go back to society. I was just happy in the woods. I was just, I had a job, I had a car, didn't have an address, and I was living like some sort of gypsy, and now and again the cops would come, you'd be pulled up. I'd stay in the car sometimes if it was cold, and one night I'd had a couple of drinks and I hadn't driven the car, and they came up and they said, "Oh, we're going to do you with the not the intention,
Where were you?
the conspiracy." I'm not going to mention where it was. I
Okay.
was in a forest in Scotland with the conspiracy of driving while under the influence. And I said, "So you're going to do me for something that I haven't done?" And he said, "Well, that's the law." I was like, "Well, that's a great law, isn't it? Very convenient for you guys." But anyway, so they did me anyway. And they gave me a big fine and went to court, big fine. And I thought, I am not paying a fine for something that I have not done. You know what I mean? It's like thought police, you know what I mean? And so eventually they started knocking on my door, like the cops, they had a warrant off me arrest. And it's a very long story, but I'm just cutting it short because of the time scale. I'll do a proper video on me, what do you call it, hon? Your testimony.
Yeah.
Do a proper video on the whole testimony because it's very long-winded. But anyways, so it gets put in jail, and my current wife, we've only just got together. We're not even really together. We haven't even kissed yet, but we were kind of in love. And she's away at her place, which is down the south of England. I'm in Scotland. And all of a sudden there's radio silence because I get put in. The police come into my house, left the front door open, didn't I, like an idiot. I almost have to take off me Scouse badge for that and just hand it in, leaving your door open when you've got a warrant out for your arrest. But anyways, yeah, so they come in, nab me and all that. So I was in the cells for 3 days, waiting to go to court. They grabbed me on Friday, so court doesn't open till Monday. So I'm in the court Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the lights, I hate white lights. So they said, "What do you want? Do you want the lights on or the lights off?" And I just said, "Just leave them off. Can't stand them white tube lights." So I was just sitting there in the dark for 3 days. And now and again they come and they say, "Do you want a cup of tea or a drink of water?" And I just get a drink of water and try not to eat the food that was in there as well because it's just wrong, innit? But anyways, that's going beside the point. But while you're in the dark for 3 days in solitary confinement, it's quite funny, but you lose all track of time. And all you keep on thinking is, wonder whether it's day or night. Wonder what day it is. I wonder what time it is. I kept on saying, I wonder what time it is. I mean, is it Friday still, or is it Saturday? Or you see what solitary confinement does to your brain? Because there's no windows, just a concrete cell, you know, four walls,
Threw a
pitch,
blanket over your head,
pitch
didn't you?
black. So I put a blanket over my head and across my legs and just sat there. And when they must see me on the camera, they come in and he said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "All right. What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just sitting here." I was quite happy though, because you know I was thinking about the father, and I was,
Praying.
yeah, I was just I wasn't necessarily praying, but I was thinking about his word and thinking about his promises, and in that I had a lot of peace while I was in. In fact, it was the most peace I've had in a long time. It was quite cool. I felt like saying, "Can I just stay here for another couple of days?" But they wouldn't let me. Um, but anyway, so I kept on almost. I couldn't really sleep, but I kept on. You know, when you're nodding like this, nodding, 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 and as I'm falling asleep, I'm thinking, I wonder what time it is. I wonder what time it is. So I'm putting my wrist up to me face, and when I put my wrist up to my face, I had a watch on, gold watch on. I thought, oh, right, and I looked at the time, and the hands on the clock were just spinning round dead fast, really quickly. And the current wife's face was in the reflection on the glass, and it was this beautiful gold watch, and I mean expensive. And I thought, I don't own a watch like that. And so I was kind of falling asleep, and honestly, and I woke up again. And I thought, looked at my wrist, and there was no watch there, and I thought, oh, that was weird. And I'd done it again. I'd done it 3 times, same with the hands going round, and the reflection I could see my current wife's face in, and again, and it happened 3 times, and I had no clue what that meant whatsoever at all. And so, you know, we go down to our friend's house. I'll mention her name, Shauna. She's a sister of ours, and she's a lovely person. And we told her about this dream we'd had, and we'd not long really come to the truth, to be fair. We were just about getting there, getting the truth. And she just said to us straight away, when I told her about it, like blasé, like it was nothing, and she went, "You're called to be a watchman, the 2 of you." And she said, "Do you have a watch on?" I said, "No, I haven't owned a watch in years." Like, didn't even know why I was looking at me wrist, but it was like a dream, but not a dream, if you know what I mean. It was kind of awake, but asleep, but awake. But anyways, that was it. And Joan had interpreted the dream, and she just said, "You're both watchmen." You know, you can see a reflection in what the hands are saying. There's not much time left. You know, and this is what we're talking about. A seed shall come and save him for 1 generation, and unto a people that shall be born, to declare his righteousness, that he hath done this. And that's what we're doing. So
This is Vinny and
there
Pip,
you go.
Covenant Promise. Vinny's testimony.
Well,
Subscribe,
small part of it.
subscribe, and like. Speak to you soon.